Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, today's episode, we've got a one-on-one video for all you guys very new to the credit game. And then we're going to focus on how to actually complete a credit card application so you can get started on your points earnings journey and get your way up to maximum value in no time. So, of course, we'll cover the applications themselves. We'll talk about some best practices as we go through it. And, of course, we'll come on the other end with some pro tips just in case you need to pull them out in a pinch. So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, of course, most of the time here is going to be spent on the computer. We'll actually walk through a few applications just so you can see some differences, point out some data fields and things like that. But, as you're probably aware of, the first part of getting a credit card is filling out the application, right? So we've got a whole one-on-one playlist that I can link down below if you need some additional help and support with various credit card topics. But the application is, again, the way to get it started. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can apply online at the computer, and that's what we're going to show you. You can also go and apply in branch. Now, online is always going to be much, much quicker and easier to do, right, as we're going to see. It's really not that bad. Now, you could also go in branch, and the reason you may want to go in branch is if you're anticipating having a difficult time getting a card. Like maybe you're pretty new to the game, you don't have much credit, maybe it's a student card you're going after, something like that. And the reason going in branch tends to potentially lean itself to an easier path forward is because most bank branches are essentially sales floors, meaning that the banker is motivated to open up accounts. So if you run into an issue or something like that, sometimes they can make a phone call. I've even heard of them writing letters to corporate for you, like an email or something. And again, if this is your first card, which it probably is if you're watching this video, the goal is to get approved and get like a $500 line of credit. That's all you need to get started in this game. So, that I would save, in branch for something like that. Now, there's also another trick here that I will mention briefly if you're going in branch, and that is that you can actually, if you're opening a deposit account, a checking or a savings account, oftentimes, there's a screen on the banker's computer that says, hey, offer them a credit card. These are the credit cards they're offered. Sometimes you can even get pre-approvals, and pre-approval means that they're not going to do a credit pull or credit inquiry for that card. That probably won't be true if you're just brand new to the game of credit, but again, it still happens to me. Go in branch to open an account. And I will say this, definitely look for a bank account bonus if you're going to open a deposit account. I have a whole channel dedicated to that I can link down below for you if you're but it's a great way to stack stack money, I should say. Now, again, the application, as we're going to see, it's just going to ask you, a few basic questions about you, your source of income, things like that. There'll be the terms and conditions to read through. Now, the big thing here that people, think about is, do I have to provide a lot of documentation? Well, the answer is no, because as you'll see, this is basically going off of stated income, which means you just tell them you're employed and you tell them how much money you make. Usually it'll be monthly or they'll do yearly. Just depends on the bank, right? But you tell them how much money you're going to make, and then they go off of that. Now, of course, they always reserve the right to come back and request documentation, but normally it's just off of stated income. Now, of course, if you're a student, you might need to. You're going for a student card, you might need to go through and approve documentation that you are a student. It could be a student email address or a copy of your schedule, something like that. And additionally, there are secured cards and business cards as well. I'm not going to get too much into those. I've got dedicated videos for those that will be down below if you need that. But this is just your basic standard credit card application. Again, all those kind of follow the same format. The difference is, business card, it has a section for about your business. Secured card is going to actually have you, open up a bank account because that's how it becomes secured. But again, full videos on that down below. So that's really as far as we need to go talking about it. Now let's jump over here and walk through some applications together. Alright guys, and so here we are on one of my favorite credit cards. This is the Citi Custom Cash. Now, we're going to take a look at a few applications, but we'll walk through Citi's in its entirety. So all you'd have to do is first come to, this landing page here, this Apply Now button, and then that opens the tab right here. Now, again, this is Citi's layout, but on the left-hand side, this is important because you can see the offer that you're applying for. And as you go through this world of credit and finance, the sign-up bonus is one of the primary reasons why we come here. Now, they also have information on your APR. This is the intro APR, so it won't stay this way, but it's part of your sign-up bonus there. And they also have the benefits of the card, right? So earn 5% cash back from purchases. If you need a video on the custom cash, if you're interested, I have one on the channel. But again, this kind of gives you a synopsis of what you're applying for. The primary information for the card will be on the marketing material over here. Of course, you can find all of it on YouTube from whoever you like to watch. But there you go. So that's the fun stuff. So now over here is our main thing. And so here you go. They're kind of starting, if you're a customer, which I am a customer, you could sign in. So if you have a checking account, savings account with them, and it will pre-populate a lot of your information. I have this card, I have city accounts, but I'm not going to sign in so we can see it from scratch. So just keep that in mind. It does make things a lot easier. But here you go. This is kind of the information you're going to need. And a lot of this ends up being self-explanatory, but the reason that they need it doesn't necessarily become self-explanatory. So the big thing here is, of course, personal information. Who you are, social security number. So see, they can kind of tell you, they give you a pop-up. But realistically, they need to pull credit. It's kind of offered off of stated income, as we talked about. So this is how they get your credit information. Of course, date of birth to make sure you're old enough for the product. Now, realistically here, the thing is, they're called Know Your Customer Rules, KYC. And what it is, it's basically the government putting a mandate on banks and financial institutions saying, hey, you need to know a level of information about your customer, right? Now, this is more to do with, deposit accounts and things like that, where they're really trying to combat, large sums of money being unaccounted for, maybe funding terrorism. I think that's how it started way back when, probably the Patriot Act thing or something. But that's why they need a lot of your information. And, of course, they will actually, some places will actually pop up and tell you that's the reason why, so you don't get mad at them, you get mad at the government. But that's really why they're asking. They don't actually care about you that much. The barest minimum things, again, personal information, you can handle all that. Now, are you a U.S. citizen, yes or no? So if you go no, there's still, potentially, depending on who the lender is or the card issuer is, there's still ways to get credit cards. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you can get like an individual taxpayer identification number, something like that, going in branch, seeing what documentation that specific issuer needs would be probably the best way to go. Again, pretty straightforward, your address and phone and email, right? So again, where are you, where you live? They got to ship the card somewhere. They have to have an address on file to send the bills every month, right? Your email address is probably going to be tied to how they also honestly market to you more. I mean, that's another part of this. They want your information to, market things to you. So you will get a lot of emails and mailers, but you'll probably also use that email address to actually create your online account. So overall, nothing crazy there. Again, they don't. I like the question mark here because it doesn't really tell you why, other than the fact that it can't be a P.O. box. It has to be a physical address. But again, they're not going to ask for like proof of residency, like a utility bill or anything like that. Really not that serious. But if you want to provide, a P.O. box, you can down here. Just check that box. Mobile phone number. It is nice that they finally get rid of saying home phone or something like that. But again, you can kind of read what you have to, or why. Providing a mobile phone number, you agree that we can contact you. I think you actually have to apply. I don't think they're going to take the application if you don't, because if you go back up to the top, it's like all information is required unless specified as optional, so you do have to provide that. You can provide a home phone number as optional, but they want the mobile one, right? So I want to provide an email address, or you have to provide an email address. Now here we go. So all that stuff you should know and be able to handle on your own. Now the financial information here. So part of my total annual income is exempt from U.S. federal income tax, optional. So you'll know if this is you, right? We're not going to spend a ton of time on it. For most people, you're not going to check this box. Like I would not be checking this box, because most of us have to pay federal taxes. Wouldn't it be nice though? So total annual income, again, a lot of these things, they have pop-ups here, so if you need to figure out how to calculate it or what they're asking for specifically, they give you some guideposts here. The total annual income, example, salary, wages, interest, dividends, rental income, retirement benefits. Of course, if you're 21 or older, you may include income from others that you can reasonably access to pay your bills. So, if you have like a player 2 or something, you could count that potentially. You do not have to include alimony, child support, separate maintenance income. And so this one, of course, mortgage or rent, is really them asking like what normally this is people's biggest expense, right? So they're kind of asking again. This one should just be a quick, put down the total. There you go. So again, what do you want to add an authorized user? I have a full video on authorized user cards. So if you want to do it, you can do it. But you don't really have to. Again, it's optional. So I've got a full video on authorized user cards. I can link down below for you. Usually better if you're talking about an adult, have them apply for their own card, because that's another sign-up bonus. If you add an authorized user, they're not going to get a sign-up bonus. So that's kind of the summary on that. It's really only beneficial, kind of in my opinion, if you want to add like children to help build up their credit. Now again, this part here is going to see you're done with the information. Honestly, now they're going to say, hey, can you create a security word? So you may be asked to provide this when you call in. So it's just like an extra level of security. So they have some stuff that you can choose from here, and then you just enter the word in there, of course, as required. So here you go. Here are the terms and conditions, disclosures of all the prices and everything, so you can kind of read through that. If you wanted to expand it, you could expand it as well. And then we have our agreements down here. By checking this box, I agree to the above. By checking this box, I agree to paperless terms and conditions and alerts and settings. So basically they're saying, hey, we'll email you a copy of this. We're not going to just mail you a bunch of it, because this is everything that you're kind of agreeing to. So once you filled out that, you just hit agree and submit, and then you're on your way, right? That's it. This is the only page, only information you have to go through. So overall, really not too bad for a credit card application. Overall, filling this out, maybe 5 minutes max. If you're already a member, even shorter, maybe 3 minutes, because all this stuff pre-populates. So that's Citi. Now let's just spot check a few other ones, just, because you might not want a Citi card. So this is American Express. So we have the same format here. So this is the gold card. It's telling you what the sign-up bonus would be over here. And then they are even telling you, hey, welcome offer not available if you have had this card, which is helpful. And again, this is a 101 video. You'll get into this more. I have a whole American Express playlist if you need it on the main page. And of course, they say this telling you the annual fee of the card right there. But again, same. They have card design options, right? So it's a little bit different. You can choose rose gold or regular gold. It is a metal card, by the way. So there you go. And then again, same information here. Yep, same exact information. The only difference is if you continue, this will continue to the terms page versus where Citi had it embedded in the application. It's American Express. The other major issuers, probably Chase. So again, you could sign in to apply faster or apply as a guest. I'll just apply as a guest really quick so we can see it loading up from scratch here. Here you go. Same. You can see the card up there. Personal information. Again, the exact same. Address information. So the one thing I don't love about theirs is Chase doesn't actually put any information about the card on the side of it. Now granted, you just came from the marketing page so you can see all that, but I do think it is nice to see the offer, the exact offer, and make sure it's attached to the card. But overall, you can see this is the exact same information. And again, they have the terms page, right down here that you can scroll through, the same agree and submit. So again, overall, all three of these that we looked at, one page. And I've also applied for U.S. bank cards as well. It's the same thing, same exact layout, right? Everyone just kind of looks a little bit different, but they're asking the same exact questions. And again, because banks only want to ask you the questions they're required to ask you. So overall, that's been a tutorial on the applications. So now we'll flip it back over for some final thoughts and some best practices so you're ready to go ahead and apply. And so there we have it, guys. Overall, see, not too bad. We looked through a few applications. They're all pretty similar to that, about one page, and it's almost kind of scary how easy it is to actually submit it. But again, if you've ever wondered why interest rates are so high on credit cards, because again, as we said in the beginning, they're operating off of stated income, and it's unsecured credit, right? There's nothing to come back for collateral. But overall, we don't worry too much about the interest rate because we're going to pay off our credit card, at the end of each statement. Last thing I'll leave you with is this. If you do, it normally works like this. There are two paths. So the best path is an instant approval, right? Sometimes they'll even give you a digital card that you can start using immediately because they want to encourage spending, and then they'll mail you your card in like 5 to 10 business days, something like that. Now the other path is you could get a wait and see, which means they're going to do a manual review. This has happened. I've had each one of these happen, by the way. They'll do a manual review, which means they'll come back later and give you a decision. It could be yes, it could be no. I've had both happen. But in the case of a no, an outright denial, either at the application screen or after the fact, after they've done reviews, there's something you can do called the credit card reconsideration line. Now, I'm not going to get too much into it, but of course, I have you covered in a full dedicated video down below where I had to go through the recon line with Chase, and I was able to turn a denial into an approval. Now, it's not guaranteed to work this way all the time, again, especially if you're in your younger days of just trying to get into credit, but again, it is a resource at your disposal. Most banks have reconsideration lines. They don't publish the number for some reason. You'll get a denial letter in the mail, and usually it'll say, hey, you can write in and if you have any questions, don't do that. Search credit card reconsideration line for that specific issue. Where I've done this with Chase to success. I've done this with Citi, and I was still denied. So it's not a a silver bullet, but it is an option. No, in this case, doesn't always mean no. It just means we might need some more information, and we can talk about it with you. But overall, that's kind of your best tip. Of course, if you're still struggling, again, you can go in branch and talk about it as well. But anyways, guys, that's been it for credit card applications. So, of course, best of luck, and let me know which credit cards are on your radar. If you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, we're posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And, of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Question for you guys is, if you're a veteran of the game, give some tips to our newer folks out there that may be able to help them along in this process. And, of course, if you're newer to the game, let me know what other one-on-one videos you'd like to see after checking out those playlists down below. Love to get your thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and talk to you very soon in the next one.